This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Well, hello and welcome to this very, very special India Questions. We have the one and only Amitabh Bachchan. And I thought to myself, one and only? I've said that so many times. But honestly, this time it is different. I have met lots of leaders, film stars who've come through our portals and gone out. But one man who has greater impact, greater charisma, greater popularity than anybody else, believe me, Amitabh Bachchan. Welcome, Amitabh Bachchan. Thank you. Don't you agree? Something ultra special? 100%?
You're being far too generous, Pranay.
Now comes the tough part. No, I read about your past and how you were a shy kid. And that...
I still am.
You're shy?
Yeah.
You believe he's shy?
I'm just putting on my best act, actually.
Right, and then, in fact, even at interviews for jobs, you'd be very shy and quiet, and nobody would take you excited. What would happen at these interviews when you were young?
Just get lockjawed.
Really?
Without being able to say anything. Really scared to walk into an office. I still am, actually. If I have to get into a restaurant, I need a lot of moral support.
Really? Yeah, you used to, in fact, even when you came to Bombay, it took you used to take the train to the studio, but you wouldn't walk in. You'd go back by the train.
Yeah, but that was for other reasons. That's because the Darwan used to prevent me from going in.
That wasn't shyness.
Yeah, it was one of the studios in Filmistan, actually.
Yeah.
And I used to go there to visit Mr. Manoj Kumar because he asked me to come and see him. So every time I went up to the gate, the Darwan would shoo me away. So this happened for 7 days, and I thought that perhaps it was because I was walking into the gates that was why I was being refused. So I took a train from Churchgate, came up to Goregaon, and took a cab.
Well, that was...
And that was allowed.
Last of the big spenders.
Lost a lot of money taking a cab,
right.
but it worked.
Because you've seen tough times as well. You used to earn how much when you started?
When I was working in Calcutta, 500 rupees a month.
500. So, you know, those of you who are shy and are finding it tough to get a job, have faith. So I'm here at an interview, and I'm the guy at the other side of the desk and say, Mr. Bachchan, nice to meet you. What are your strengths and weaknesses?
I'd like to leave, sir. I don't want this job.
No, seriously, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
It's very difficult, Pranay, to be able to say that. But most of the jobs that came up in Calcutta at that time just demanded that you be a graduate, that you be able to play golf.
And you didn't play golf?
And have your gin and lime in the afternoon for lunch, because that's what the atmosphere was.
Which you did, I hope.
Yeah, a lot of times we were forced into doing that because it made good sense. It made
Must
company
have been
sense.
tough to force you to do.
Absolutely.
It was very difficult.
But basically that was it. And if you dressed well and if you spoke well, I guess then you were put into this training scheme of that company, and thereafter everything else took over.
And you spoke Bengali as well?
I didn't, but but after joining a company, one of the rules was that we'll pay you $3,000 if you learn Bengali. And just for the lure of 3,000 rupees, which was like $1 million at that time, we took this money and spent it on all the other things except learning Bengali. And finally be able to just last minute get some of your friends to teach you a few important words and pass this examination. But it was
So you passed a Bengali examination?
Yeah, we did, actually.
And Calcutta and Bengal has a special place in your heart?
Oh, yes, of course. Because my first job was in Calcutta, and then spent 6 wonderful years there.
Right. Let's now, I can see there's so many people who want to ask questions now. Let's start with the young lady there. Oh, you got a mic in your hand already. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Sir, Like SRK has done remake of your movie Dawn. Would you like to do any movie of his remake?
It's too late in life now, sweetheart.
Never too late. Never
So
too
we'd
late.
love
Yeah,
to
but-
see you.
I think, you know, his age group will not allow me to do any remakes of his films. I'm having a pretty tough time playing Gabbar Singh now in the new version of Sholay, but if ever I was his age and if I wanted to do it, then yeah, I would like to do Swadesh, because I thought that that was perhaps Shah Rukh's best performance to date. And I did tell him about it. I liked his performance in Swadesh and in Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna, because they were very complex
Right.
characters, and I thought that he played it really well, and I told him about it.
I think he really appreciates it when you comment and give him suggestions, etc. I mean, he really looks up to you.
No, it's not that.
He
It's,
does. I mean, I know from the other side that he.
But
he
genuinely,
appreciates it.
as a
a
film
professional.
goer and as a person that appreciates cinema, and I'm sure that there are people from film school here who would appreciate that. There were some very pertinent moments in Swadesh and in Kabhi Alvida, which were really well enacted by him.
But I mean, I don't know. I hate to ask this question. Have you given him some advice on KBC?
No,
yet.
no. He's actually it's a very well packaged program,
Right.
and the working of the program is so set that
Yes.
it actually takes you along. I hadn't seen it. I hadn't seen Shah Rukh's KBC, but recently I did, and I thought that was fine. It's absolutely fine.
You thought he's good in it?
Oh yeah.
Right. I mean, the show is great, but the individual does, like you really created it in India. It just was magic. Don't you agree?
I just felt that the show itself has great potential. You know, it's been designed by a psychologist. There's huge amount of drama. There's suspense. There's the thrill of winning. There's the anguish of losing.
Right.
All this forms,
Amazing.
a wonderful. It's like almost watching a film for 3 hours, because it has
Yes.
everything in it.
And
So you have a
if
bit of
you
laughter,
win-
you have anguish, you have tears, you have screams of joy, and at the end of it, somebody goes off with 2
And
crore
you can
rupees.
change somebody's life.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
it's a life-changing show in many
Yeah.
ways. Right. Any other? Oh, there's so many questions. Okay, how about this young gentleman here? Yeah.
Sir, I would like to ask that did you any time feel that I have means you shied away from specifying your weaknesses, but I feel that means you should keep learning from life. So did you any time shooting any kind of film feel that I do not know this, I do not know that?
Yeah, almost every role has certain points, certain things in it which we are totally unaware of. And it is then the director's prerogative and the writer's prerogative to teach us and to tell us what are the finer points of this role. We're doing Eklavya now. And Vidhu Vinod Chopra, the director, was very, very clear in his mind exactly how he wanted this character to look, how to behave, how he should walk, how he should speak, what his demeanor should be. We can come with some preconceived notions and ideas when you read a script, but it's only when you spend time with the director, because after all, that's what his vision is going to be, that you realize that, no, perhaps you're doing something wrong. And it's very nice to be corrected, even after being in the line for 35 years, to be told that, no, I don't think this is
But
right.
many directors say you are an ideal actor for a director's actor because you listen. You're open-minded.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
would-
true?
I would think that,
You don't say, look, I've done this 35 years now.
No, but this is common knowledge. I mean, if he's paying me some money, that the least that I can do is,
Listen
is
to
to
him.
listen to him. So, like, he was very particular about the beard of Eklavya in the film, and we spent 8 months just designing the beard, and one little hair would go out of place, and he would be sitting miles away in front of a monitor, and he'd come running and say, your beard's wrong, or, your walk isn't correct. And I think it's wonderful to be continuously be told you're doing wrong and you need to correct it. A lot of people are very adamant that this is the way they want to do it because of their image or the way they're accepted in public. But I think an actor needs to be molded and changed.
And ego shouldn't come into it. There are a lot of actually budding actors and directors
Yeah,
and
yeah.
from film school here.
You should submit yourself to the director because that's his ultimate vision that is seen.
Right. Talking about tough things in life, if there's one thing is, in my opinion, you're a fighter. You've had a lot of setbacks. You had a terrible illness, you had a setback in your career, you had financial setback, all these setbacks, but you fought those interviews which you didn't get in, and then you, you fought and came to Bombay. Can you tell these youngsters what does failure mean, and what do you feel at that time, and how do you fight back?
I think that failure is a part of every human being's life. To think that failure is never ever going to come to you is the first mistake. It is bound to come some point of time. Even if you're riding a huge wave of success, I think it's important that at the back of your mind, you should be wary that tomorrow everything can go wrong. And whenever I think like this, I immediately think, okay, suppose I was to lose everything. What is the bottom line that would keep me comfortable? So I go back to where I was born and how I was brought home in a tonga, wrapped in a gudri, and I say, the worst is that things can't go worse than that. I'll sleep on the floor, I'll sleep on the pavement. So you look at the bottom line.
Right. And that makes you feel it's not that bad.
I think that
gives you
you
strength?
feel that if you're prepared for the worst, a lot of people can say, look, I can't do without a house with 10 bedrooms, or I need 2 cars and I need a phone, and everyone has different priorities. But I think that what I feel is that I think about the bottom line, and when it isn't too difficult to cope with, I feel very satisfied. From there on, you say, okay, this is where I am. I have to move forward from here. This is the worst scenario. Now I must move forward. So every day you keep pegging away, digging at something, poking at something. Right. And even if it's a centimeter that you move forward, at least you move forward. I'm always reminded of an incident of my father's. We used to live in Delhi at Willingdon Crescent, which is near Teen Murti House, where Panditji used to stay. And at that time, the diplomatic enclave, which is now very, very habitated, was just wilderness and wild jungle. And he used to go for his morning walk in that region. And he used to leave at 3, 4 in the morning and come back at 5, 6. And he developed a taste for looking at rocks on the road and finding some kind of an image or a figure in it. And he would bring it home, and with just a stroke of a paintbrush, bring out that image, and or just leave the stone like that and say, look, this looks like a bird, or this looks like a human. And he developed this thing. One day he came back from his walk and he woke me up, as he normally would, at 6 in the morning, and say, can you just help me? I've got something which I cannot lift, so help me bring it in. So I went to the gate, and there was a huge boulder about this size. And I said, look, you can't possibly think that I can move this. So we called about 10, 20 people, and they pushed this huge boulder and brought it into our veranda where he wanted it to be put. That done, I asked him, look, this is fine, but how did this come up to the gate? So he said, I went for my walk, I saw this huge rock, I saw this shape in it, and I liked it, I wanted to move it. So every day I go, I move it 1 inch, and I come back. In 3 months, it's landed up at the gate.
Fantastic.
So really, it's a great example that, if you just keep pushing something every day, it may look small, but I think the important thing is that you're moving forward. And there is some amount of satisfaction that you've done something which is somewhere giving you some satisfaction, and that eventually you will bring that huge boulder to its destination.
Well, you've already moved a lot of boulders in your life. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, there are lots more questions. We'll talk about a whole new treasure that's entered Amitabh Bachchan's life, or his family life. Aishwarya Rai. That's in a moment from now.